We are conducting candidate interviews sponsored by the Basehor Community Library, supported by the League of Women Voters of Leavenworth County. Recordings of each interview will be posted on the library's website. As a reminder, the election is November 4th, and early voting starts October 15th. Registration for voting ends October 14th. So if you are not registered, change your name or address, register at the courthouse or kansasvotes.org. ksvotes.org. My name is Rachel Hissong, Director of the Basehor Community Library. And with us is Mr. Ross Schwisow, who is running as a school board member candidate for USD 458. Mr. Schwisow will be introducing himself and answering a few questions for voters. Thanks for taking the time today, Mr. Schwisow, and please start with your introduction.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. For myself, I guess a short introduction. I was an educator here in the Basehor-Linwood School District for 18 years. I was an educator for over 25 years. And for me, I recently left Basehor-Linwood to continue to work in education, where I work with a couple thousand high schools. But one of the things for me when I did leave Basehor-Linwood as an educator is I wanted to continue to give back and try to give back to the community. And for me, I felt like being on the school board could really be one of those steps to help our community and just help our students in general. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to hopefully go through the process.
Okay, now on to the questions. Number one, what are the 3 things you want to work for and support if you are elected?
For me, I've noticed it. I mentioned it there that I was here with the district for 18 years. We've moved our family here. We've raised our family here, and the district has changed immensely over the last 18 years. And there's a big piece of a lot of history behind the district, but then there's also a lot of preparation of how we need to prepare for the growth in our area, and how to make sure that we are handling that. So one of the biggest things for me would be to try to work on the district being forward thinking, having long-term plans. The second piece is, how that impacts, all students. I think that even years ago, bringing the ELC into our district, that was a huge step, just not only for all of our students, but our community. The students are finding a home earlier, and what are we doing to, reach and work with all students, and continue that piece. I'd say a third one for me would probably be just a little bit more also as we hit the growth, is to keep some of the culture and that community feel that we have, but then also not being afraid of change, and meeting that change, and what are the positives that growth can provide for our students, for all the education that they're going to get, and the whole path that they'll get from the pre-K, the ELC, all the way through the high school.
Okay, what are the 3 things you would like to get rid of or change?
Um, it's hard for me because I guess maybe I'm a little bit of a homer because I love this place a lot, and it's one of those that is there a lot to change, but I think we also need to reflect and constantly look at how can we get better at some of those. I would say some of the change would be, for us to, you know, is there a way to share more of the positives? It's a hard thing that sometimes, you know education, or some of those, sometimes maybe only the negatives get put out there sometimes. What are we doing the most to provide the positive aspects of all of our students, and all of our learning across the aspect, of education. Another one for me would be, maybe also continue to work, and it wouldn't be a change, it's just continue to be open-minded of what we are providing our students. Years ago at the high school, they started working on even providing more alternative education for students. Education's ever growing, and what we're trying to provide for students. It's not always what's there in the classroom. It's some of those other aspects of those experiences. And so that would be one of the goals as well, is not necessarily a change, but try to be a little bit more forward thinking of what we're providing for that. And then, you know, I, I guess continue, maybe more, yeah, continue to promote as much student involvement and parental involvement as we can. I think the more students are involved in the aspects of just the community and the school, that continues to help with the culture and the heartbeat. And as much as and I'm a parent of three, and it's tough. Like we get busy, but I think also the more that we can be involved as well, maybe continue to work on promoting that, because at the heartbeat of education, it's not just the kids, it's the families, and it's everybody else that's involved. And I think everybody wants to feel comfortable that their kids are being put to a place where they're going to be challenged, and they're going to be going to have that opportunity to grow. And that's a big chunk of their day. And I think the more parents are involved, and the kids want to be there, and the more kids are involved, the better that the school district will be.
Okay. And last, what are three strengths or experiences that you want the voters to know about you?
Um, I think probably one of the biggest strengths is probably maybe the reason that I am running for school board is, we started my family here, my wife and I, almost 18 years ago. We have three kids in the district. I worked in the district for 18 years as a teacher, and as an administrator the last 7 years at the high school. And I would have never left the district if what I'm doing now wasn't allowing me to work with more schools. And so I'd say that's one of my strengths is, ironically, I know the district. My family's here. I was here for 18 years, worked behind the scenes. So I kind of know the positives and some of the negatives. And then, now for me, I get to work with school districts all over the country. And so I see what different districts look like. I see ideas, I see strengths, I see weaknesses. And so seeing what may or may not fit for USD 458 would definitely, maybe be one of my strengths. And then also at the root of it is, we're strong in this community. That was a big part for our family, is we wanted to find a place when we settled down and we came here, and having our three kids come through here. And I've got, my brother moved here, and so there's a family aspect to that. And so really truly we want the best, for the district. And I fully aware that running for the school board, it's not always going to be what my views are. It's going to be me having to make a decision of what is the best for all the kids, and for the community. And I've had to do that. I've been in those shoes, and I think that those would be my biggest strengths behind it.
I will give you the last word for a wrap up. Thank you for running for office and sharing your perspectives with us.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I think just, in regards to any time that there's election, and for myself as in general, is get out there and vote, get out there and educate yourself on what every candidate, is there for, and the reasons for why they're running. For me, it's for me. I view it as kind of a calling. It's a service that I want to be able to do. I've spent about 25 years of my adult life, in education, and wanting to give back. And now that, I see this as an opportunity to be on a school board, I want to be a part of a district in that aspect as well. So, I just ask the voters, educate yourself, and go, vote for what you feel is the best fit for your community and for your students or your town. And I would appreciate, any questions. If anybody ever has anything, they can always reach out to me as well, and ask, any other questions. So,
Okay, thank you.
all right.